Back again with the 2023 Outlander 850 Hunting Edition. Let's go over here and see. We have got, I mean, see that, 13.6 hours, 66.7 miles. I know I was planning on doing a 6-month review, and this is more like a 10.5-month review. Had it a little longer than expected, but honestly, really haven't ridden it much. Probably wouldn't be a lot different from a 6-month review because I've barely ridden it since then. Life just got in the way, got busy with work, hunting season came and got busy with that, and have not ridden this thing nearly as much as I expected to. But I am enjoying it. It's been great when I needed it. Used it hauling some wood when we went camping, just, you know, things like that. It's been great. Hooked it to some trees that had fallen and pulled them out of the path. You know, as I said, taking it camping with us, taking it riding around some fields, taking it riding through the woods, and even took it to a motocross track. This beast is not really controllable once you get it in the air.
Nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.
But you know, that's not what it's made for. It didn't do a lot of big jumps on it or anything like that. Maybe I'll even have some footage to throw in. But yeah, so just to kind of go over some of my thoughts and where I am with it. I did the service on it a few months ago. The first service, did an oil change, gearbox oil change, front differential, and the rear differential. Tried to change everything on it and get fresh fluids in there. Wanted to get those metal shavings out because of break-in period. And honestly, I'm not sure that it needed to be done. I just read this online, and the fluid all looked really good coming out of it as expected. Went with Can-Am OEM fluids, hit all the grease points on it. I did film some videos of doing the service. I have not had time to edit them and put them up. If that's something you guys want to see, I'll prioritize that. Leave some notes down in the comments if you want to see that. I know there are a few other videos showing you those kind of things. And honestly, it was very hard to get good video of it as I was working on it. One of the complaints I read about people doing services on it is that these are very hard to work on. I am very experienced working on cars. I'm very experienced working on other, you know, motorcycles and ATVs and things like that. And I honestly didn't really take that seriously. And I won't say that doing fluid changes on it were hard necessarily, but they were a pain in the butt. I really wasn't prepared for the time it took. I got started midday and I worked until well after dark, several hours after dark. It definitely is not going to be a 2-hour job, which is kind of what I was expecting. It's going to be an all-day job. At least it was for me. Now, I did take the skid plates off. I know I showed you in the initial video, this hunting edition comes with some factory aluminum skid plates, and I really love the idea of the skid plates. What I have found is that they trap a lot of dirt. A lot of when I'm riding through fields, you know, they're getting beans, they're getting straw, they're getting stuff stuck in there that just won't come out. And I am a little concerned about that over time. I'm a little worried just holding all that stuff close to the frame is going to cause the frame to rust. I've just had that experience with stuff that traps mud and dirt and stuff on frames. And even power washing this thing, I've not been able to get it clean with those skid plates on. So when I did the service, I went ahead and took all the skid plates off, and that was a several-hour job. Was not prepared for that. It had carriage bolts that went up through the bottom, but you could barely get to the nut on top, and I had to use several extensions and universal joints and wobble extensions and a combination of things. But since it's a carriage bolt, there's obviously no head to spin from the bottom, and you can't spin it from the bottom, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It was even more difficult putting them back in, because trying to get that nut started on that bolt that you can't spin from the bottom was it was wild. Did not expect that. It was a way more difficult job than I expected. The skid plates especially, even on the rear end, and they're trying to get to the plug to drain it out, or drain the fluid out. It was like you couldn't get an Allen key straight in. I had to use one with a ball at an angle, just because the bracket for the rear end, or for the trailer hitch and stuff, was right there. Let's talk about down here. This is what I mentioned. As you can see, that bolt, the fill plug and drain plug, the drain plug is just extremely difficult to get to straight on. So kind of had to use a ball Allen socket at an angle. The oil change was probably the easiest of it. One thing I did find while doing the oil change was that they did not put a drain plug washer on there from the factory. That was a bit concerning to me. Other than the service, things been doing great. I haven't had any problems with it. You know, really no complaints as far as problems go. I guess I should say I've had no mechanical problems with it, which I wouldn't expect to in 13 hours. But yeah, so far mechanically it's been great. No weird noises out of the ordinary, nothing like that. It's been a lot of fun to ride. I still feel the same way. I love the power on it. One thing that's taken a lot of getting used to for me is it does have a little bit of a delay. And I know I've got the factory clutch in there. Not sure if I'll change it later. And factory tune. If it's not in sport mode, when you hit the throttle, it's just like there's a slight like half a second delay on it. In sport mode, it's a little bit better, which makes me think it has to do with the tune. It's still there a little bit, but not nearly as bad. I have found that to be a little bit of an inconvenience when I'm working with it. Just riding it in general. It even like, you know, trying to do a wheelie on it, you'll nail it and go to pull up, but you'll pull up before the power kicks in. I'm just not used to that with sport ATVs that I've had previously, or to be honest, even the utility ATVs are not that way. I know it has to do with the CVT on it, or I've read that it has to do with the CVT on here. It's not a big deal. It just irks me a little bit. But I'm loving the power of it. I ride it in sport mode a lot of the time that I ride it. The only thing about that is that I found that while it does help with that delay, putting it in sport mode is a little jerky as far as, because it's got so much power to it, which is a lot of fun when you're riding it. It is a little bit of annoyance if you're, you know, working with it or trying to yank some logs out of the path or things like that. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I know I get asked about the suspension on it, and honestly, for a factory four-wheeler, I have zero complaints about the suspension. Is it set up like a, you know, nice set of Elka shocks on something? No. Obviously it's not. Obviously you can put a lot better suspension on here. Obviously there are a lot of four-wheelers that have a lot better suspension, but for the kind of riding I'm doing, I have no desire to upgrade the suspension. It's done great on trails. It handles the ruts well. It rides fairly smooth. You know, for what it is, for a utility four-wheeler this size, I have no complaints about the suspension. I have no complaints about the handling. I really have no complaints about the power. Those things are what make this, in my opinion, a fun four-wheeler. Those are the reasons why you would own this. But yeah, other than that, what I have had are a lot of just more annoyances. I just do not think the quality is there with this machine, to be honest. I've had things like these headlights, and I've read online this is a very common problem after I ran into this, but these LED headlights, every time I take it out, just about, and it's cool out, you know, summertime, cool evenings, anytime, they're full of moisture. Is that the end of the world? No. I just don't think it should be happening. And it's not one of them, it's all of them. So it's not like one has had a bad seal. It literally is all four of them. I've read a bunch of people complaining about that online, so I know it's a common issue with these. They're just super cheap headlight housings. Do they work? Absolutely. They're just poor quality. Things that I mentioned in this other video, like the grind marks here that have just been painted over, the runs and the paint on it, just terrible quality. The welds look like, you know, somebody that, you know, about my skill level welded them up. You know, for what these machines cost, I do expect a little better. The thing that really irks me was that drain plug, the oil drain plug, not having a washer on it. That really got to me. And I had initially filmed this video back when I did those fluid changes, and I just decided that I really should wait and post a video later. But that drain plug not being on there worries me. And the reason it worries me is just combined with all of these other things that are just sloppy quality on it. quality control let through. It makes me wonder if they're forgetting things like that oil drain plug washer. What are they forgetting that are on the outside of the motor? What are they forgetting inside the motor? I hope nothing. I really do. But it scares me. And seeing some of the problems people are having online, you can look at Braden Price's videos, and huge Can-Am fan, but he's having tons of problems with the last couple Outlanders he's bought. Now I know he's rough on them. I know he's modifying them, things like that, and that's what I know a lot of people chalk it up to. But it just starts making me wonder. And all these differential failures I'm seeing people report, all these whiny differentials. I'm just not sure that if the quality is this bad on things that I can see, that it's not going to be the same internally. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's not. That's my biggest fear with it. But like I said, I can't complain too much because I really have had no mechanical problems. Got fresh fluids in there, ridden it a little bit since then, not much. Plan to ride it a little more coming up now that deer season's over. The other thing I want to do is I want to get another machine so that I can ride with my better half. I think she'll enjoy, or I know she'll enjoy it. She loves riding this thing and would love to go hit some trails and stuff like that. So definitely hope to use it a lot more than I have been. Now, the question I get asked most often is, would I buy this machine again? And the answer is I don't know. I'm leaning towards yes. And that would be my initial answer. And it's for those things that I mentioned. It's for the handling. It's for the great ride. It's for the power. It really does phenomenal on trails. It does phenomenal really for everything that I've used it for. And that's why I'd buy it again. You're not buying this machine because it's well built. You're not buying this machine because it seems like it holds up well. You're buying it for that power, and you're buying it for that handling. And those are the only reasons, in my mind, that you would even consider one of these machines. Outside of that, I'm just not sure. What I can tell you is that any of the Japanese companies, Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, probably even Kawasaki, made something that was comparable to this. I know Kawasaki's got the brute force V-twins, but they're just not comparable power-wise. If any of them made anything with this kind of power to it and similar handling, I would never consider one of these machines. Wouldn't even look at it. I would just go straight to one of those. I really do think the quality is that much better. I can also tell you that I'm looking at buying a second machine for my better half, so that we both have something to ride. And I'm still undecided if I'm going to go with something new or used. I'm just not sure I need another brand new machine, but the used market is a little bit tough, at least around here, it seems like, and a lot of junk out there. And so I may end up going with another new one, and it's not going to be a Can-Am. I think it's great as a machine to have fun on. I don't want two of them, and I don't want the maintenance and the reliability that I think is going to come along with this on two machines. My second one, I want something to be maybe, not quite, it doesn't need to be quite as fast, doesn't need to handle quite as well, but I want it to run without me working on it all the time. I want maintenance to be simple to do on it. Something like a Honda Foreman or a Suzuki King Quad is probably what I'm going to go with. Both of them are significantly easier to maintain and just super simple machines that have had proven reliability over time. And so it's really tough for me to answer the question, would I buy it again? But I think the answer is probably yes, as my main four-wheeler to ride and have fun on. But I definitely wouldn't buy one as a second four-wheeler, in my opinion. And like I said, if power's not important to you, I probably wouldn't buy one. If any of the Japanese companies made something with similar power, I would definitely not buy one. I don't want to sound like a Can-Am hater here, and don't think I am, because I really, like I said, I haven't had any mechanical problems with it. I can't condemn that part of it. I can't say anything's bad quality inside. I just, the things that I have seen on it are just so poor in quality. I mean, even things like the screen. When we took it camping overnight, I woke up and the screen had tons of moisture in there. It's obviously not sealed very well. It just, everything on it has a cheap feel to it. And honestly, this machine costs so much more than any of the others. I just don't think it should be that way. But it is, and it is what it is, and kind of where we are. As far as other things, know in the first videos I mentioned that I was loving these tires. These Carlisle Act HDs, and for the kind of riding I do, they really are phenomenal. Been very happy with them. They're holding up well. As I said, 13 hours, so not a ton of riding on them, but they are holding up well. Been very happy with those. Have not had to put brakes on it yet. I know that's a concern that a lot of people have. They say they go through brakes quickly. These seem to be holding up well so far. Everything really is holding up well through light use. I love the heated grips. I love the seat cover. The other thing that I will touch base on is it's starting when it's cold. Now this thing has obviously been sitting a lot over the past few months. I haven't ridden it a lot. But I've seen a lot of people complain that theirs runs rough when they start it cold, when it's cold out. And this is exactly the same way. I wasn't sure I was going to get out of the garage when I fired it up a few minutes ago. It fired up, just gave it a tiny bit of throttle, and it choked out and died. I fired it back up, it just ran rough and it bogged, and anytime you hit the throttle it'd bog out, and I had to let it sit there and warm up for a little bit. And after it warms up, it seems to run fine. So I don't think it's a real issue. I just think it's something that I do see a lot of people complain about, and I do think it's, it is a real thing on it. And so if that's a concern, it may not be the machine for you, but it seems like it runs fine once it warms up. I've had no real issues there. Really, I've been happy with the machine overall. I have a ton of fun on it. I love riding it. It handles great. It's done well. I've stacked wood on here. You can see it's still a little dirty from the last time. Took it to the campsite. Like I said, no real mechanical issues with it. I do love riding it. Have had a lot of fun on it. I love the heated grips. I mean, it's essentially the Cadillac of ATVs. And I mean, I think that's how you got to think of it. I think you got to think of it as a high performance machine and not expect it to be the best quality, but expect it to be high performance. I will say, the notchiness of the gears has not gotten any better. The gears are still very notchy, taking them in and out. You got to do a little Can-Am rock when you put it in the gear a lot of times, but that's not a real issue. I do hope to put out some more videos this coming year as I ride more. Let me know the things you guys want to see, and I'll try to video those, try to get some footage of whatever you guys want to see on here. Really just did a brief overview. Don't have any major changes, don't have anything major to report other than doing the first service on it. Just kind of my thoughts after 10.5 months of owning it. But yeah, let me know any questions. I'll be glad to do a video and answer them. If you guys want to see something specific, I'll be glad to show you that. Just let me know what you guys want. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the follow-up. If there's anything you guys want to know, please comment below. I'll be glad to answer your comments. Hope you like and subscribe my page. I do plan on having more videos coming soon, so follow with me. I do have a bunch of videos I've taken over the past several months and have not gotten them edited or uploaded, so that is coming soon. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button down below and follow me for more.